Let's have a leadoff hitting guest. We are going to get into plenty of baseball this afternoon, but we'll start with basketball on the Farm Bureau guest line. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team, Mississippi Farm Bureau. The one and only Pat Bradley from ESPN and the SEC Network joins us this afternoon. Pat, it's been a while, man. How are you?
Good, brother. Good, brother. I'm used to seeing you on the screen with Joe Klein, the big head Joe Klein.
Big Joe from Slater Mo. He is one of a kind. Good dude. A fellow Razorback, right?
Oh, no, right. Absolutely. He's one of the all-timers, man. And he slings barbecue, but charges me double.
Well, he knows rich people when he sees them, I suppose.
Yeah, right.
Hey,
he must be looking right through me and to the guy behind me.
There you go. Let's jump in and talk a little bit about the Sweet 16 and kind of big picture first. 3 of the 16 teams are from the SEC. One of them, your alma mater, Arkansas, who will take on UConn. You got Tennessee there playing FAU, and you would think that means a good path for Tennessee to the Elite Eight. And then also the number 1 overall seed, Alabama. So 3 SEC teams in the Sweet 16. Did you expect it to be more than that, or is that the number you thought?
I had said 5.
Okay.
Bama, for sure. I like Kentucky's draw. They were right there. They had the opportunity to beat Kansas State. If Kansas State didn't have that kid, their point guard, play like Chris Paul in his prime, they would have beat them. And Kansas State makes 2 3-pointers in the last 2 minutes of the game. That was just the death nail. Like, it was just too much. It was a close game, and you get a team that makes 2 threes, and they pull away. I thought Texas A&M was playing so well at the end of the year that they had a chance. I mean, who didn't think that, how they were playing, second best in the league, that they couldn't have upset Texas, in-state game, in-state rivalry. So I had them, and I actually had the Hogs beating Kansas because of the matchup, the perimeter matchup. So outside of that, the only one with Tennessee, like, Duke was playing great, and we didn't know how Tennessee would play in that type of a game without Zakai Ziegler. And, boy, did they show us how they can play in that type of game without Zakai Ziegler.
Well, it really is fascinating when you look at the way Rick Barnes has done it with this team, because we're talking about a team that was number 1 in the country early in the year in Tennessee, and everybody had picked to be a potential Final Four team, but they were up and down offensively. The defense stayed pretty good throughout, up and down offensively, and then just a devastating injury, and yet here we find them on the second weekend. And I wonder if it's, second weekend with a chance to kind of keep on rolling given their draw.
Yeah, it is. Well, what we didn't know, again, was how would Jemai Mashak, who has stepped in to really play the point guard position. Vescovi still does it. Josiah Jordan James can still run it. Tyreek Key also runs it at times. But here's what's interesting to me is, as great as Zakai Ziegler was, fast, gets down on defense. He's about 5'10". Mashak is 6'4", and that gives you an element of size in that backcourt that, my goodness, man. And Mashak is a defensive-minded dude. So that's interesting to me to watch. Now, Vescovi just took over in that first half. I'm talking his shots were falling. That was the difference in the first half. Kamwa showed his offensive ability. The ceiling is really high for Olivier Kamwa. I don't know if he's going to come out and play like that on offensive end, but it just gives you a glimpse of what Tennessee can be when you've got those things clicking, outside of their great physicality and defense.
Let's talk a little bit about your Arkansas Razorbacks. I think I can call them yours. You put in enough sweat along the way. First of all,
And 2 teeth, by the way. I get 2 teeth knocked out. I got 2 fake teeth because of going after a loose ball. So I gave blood, sweat, tears, and teeth.
Who is your all-time favorite Razorback?
Wow. Well, I got to start with my old roommate, Guy Whitney from Bentonville, Arkansas, 6'5". He has the record for the fastest foul out. I think he fouled out 5 fouls in 7 minutes. It was incredible to watch.
That's spectacular.
So outside of him, I'm partial to my teammates, Kareem Reed, Derek Hood. I've been through the battles with those guys. I still talk with those guys, still love those guys. But non-teammates, the guys that set the stage for my team, Scotty Thurman, Colas Williamson, Corey Beck. I still talk with Clint McDaniel, Davor Remak, Al Dillard. Those are the guys I looked up to because they were so close. Now, outside of that, Lee Mayberry's a great friend. Todd, I made it a point to make sure that I had relationships with the former players, going all the way back to Sidney Moncrief, Tommy Boyer, who's got a statue in front of Bud Walton Arena. So I think every player should invest time in getting to know the history of the program, the players that have been there, the coaches that have been there, heck, even the secretaries that have been there. We had a great one, and Terry Murphy has been there for over 30 years. She just retired. So that's what matters to me, and that's what I think makes for a program to be able to have success in the future if you continue to kind of include everybody, because that puts a little extra pressure now. When you get pressure from a former player, that's a little bit different than getting pressure from the fans, the media. Because those players look at you in the eyes and go, we did that. Are you going to do it? Or are you going to do something better or worse? That hits you a little bit different now.
And I guess you can't do that if you only drop in once a year for a reunion or you show up every third year for a former players party. You have to kind of invest along the way so that they see you around the program if you're going to be able to have that kind of the ability to say when things aren't right.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the other side of that, though. Like, we got guys from all over, and you guys know this. Like, it's very expensive. So, it's not NIL like our prime earning years. There was no NIL, so it's difficult for a guy who is living. I got a teammate that lives in Virginia. It's expensive for him to fly to Las Vegas to go Sweet 16, get a plane, get a hotel, and all that, and fly to Fayetteville. And so, yes, you're right. You want to be around the program as much as possible. However, maybe with all the millions and billions of dollars that schools make off of the backs of the old players, maybe they could give us a little back pay. You know what I'm saying? So we can get to some of these games. How about that? How about a little back pay?
I hear you. Hey, I didn't really anticipate going down this road. We've got about a minute and a half left. I'm curious your reaction to the Chris Beard hire that Ole Miss made. Obviously, that's a hire that's got layers to it, and there's the basketball side and the other side. What was your reaction when it was announced or looked like that was going to happen?
Well, I felt like he was going to get a job in the future, and I don't understand, society puts a time limit on things. I don't understand that. If somebody, clearly we know the whole story of, the charges being dropped and what happened that night. I don't know the in-depth details, so I can't speak on that. Yeah. What I can speak on is he was going to get hired again. Who puts limits on when they're hireable and when they're not? I don't know. Nobody ever asked me. So I think Keith Carter said, I understand the situation. I know Chris Beard personally. He's been upfront and honest. Who says we have to wait until a year? And, he was aggressive and made a fantastic hire.
Yeah. Razorbacks going to get it done against UConn? 30 seconds left.
Yes, we got the size, athleticism, toughness, speed to match up with anybody. If we lose, it would be because we don't rebound. UConn's a fantastic offensive rebounding team. And the key for the Hogs, because we're not a great three-point shooting team, we got to get to the free throw line, make our free throws. Attack, attack, attack. put the pressure on UConn, the Huskies, going down in Vegas.
Pat,